All right, so we are back to do some car stuff. So I thought in this video, I would go over the auto tune feature in ECU Master. So I have the software up here, and now I'll give you guys like a disclaimer. I'm not an expert with the ECU Master software, so there may be other videos out there that are better than what I'm going to tell you. But there are like so many questions I see on the forums on Facebook and all that about these particular subjects. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to go over this briefly. So anyway, so the auto tune feature is located right up here. It's the third icon over. You got the question mark, a little tool thing there, and then the third one over is auto tune. Okay, so when you click that, it comes up this little box here, and it gives you minimum RPM, maximum RPM, minimum throttle position sensor. Pretty much self-explanatory stuff. You probably don't even have to mess with that. Okay, and it tells you which VE table you're wanting to work with. Okay, which is VE table 1. Okay, so anyway, let's forget that for now. And I kind of wanted to go over one thing you need to do before you even think of auto tuning. Okay, so the one thing you want to do is you want to go and you want to set up. You go to your fueling, you go to your Lambda. Okay, so if you're on VE table 1, you want to go to your Lambda target 1. Okay, so this graph here, you need to set this up. You need to set that up before you do any kind of auto tuning, because the auto tune goes off of that. Okay, so in other words, when you're running the correction or the fuel trimming, it's going off of the Lambda target table. So in other words, when you're going down the road and say you're at 112 kPa and 3,500 RPMs. Okay, your Lambda is at 0.84. I'm not sure exactly what that is in AFRs, but for this purpose, it's really not that important. This is just showing you that, I'm just telling you that the EGO correction, which is basically when you have that turned on, it's trimming fuel. So if your tune is off, it's going to trim fuel and it's going to try to get it as close as it can to these targets. Okay, so where you can get one of these maps is go to ECU Master and download any one of their maps, and those maps have this in it. Okay, and you can kind of even just look at it and you can copy it to yours. You don't even have to use it. You can just look. It's really simple too, because it's not many cells. Most of the larger boost area, or the area that's you're in boost, is in the 0.79 range. So they're almost all that. Okay, it's the down lower stuff that you may be different. Like you may want to cruise at 14.7 AFR. You may want to cruise at that. I don't know. I don't have it set at that. I have it cruising around 0.91. Okay, because I just know that this thing needs more fuel. And I'm never going to be cruising this thing. I'm not going to be, going down the highway at 3,500 for 20-30 minutes at a time. I'm just not going to do that. So I run it with a little extra fuel. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So once you get this set up, okay, then you can close that, and then you want to go to your EGO, check out your parameters, and I have it enabled. Okay, so what that means is it's trimming fuel. And then it has a rich limit, lean limit, so you can choose, 15%, 20%, however much you want it to correct. Okay, so, but if you're that far off, like if you're more than 15% off, then you really shouldn't be trying to auto tune. Auto tune is just for like fine tuning. I would recommend like maybe getting on a dyno, or actually working on the tune, prior to doing this auto tune feature, because the auto tune feature is actually, for what I'm doing, it's really not made for what I'm doing, like for drag racing. Like you wouldn't turn auto tune on and then take it down the drag strip, okay, and then use those values that it gives you to plug into your map. You wouldn't do that. The auto tune feature likes you to be at a steady state for a long period of time. So each cell wants, you want to be in each cell for a long period of time in order for the auto tune feature to get a good accurate reading for each cell. Okay, so that sounds really complicated, but it's really not. All you're going to do is you're going to basically turn you're going to go to your log. You're going to get your, see if I can get this out of the way here. So go to your log graph. This is what logs, okay? So this is what takes down the information of everything that you have set up in the car, okay? So you're going to want to clear this first. I'm going to erase it. Yes, you want to clear the log. Okay, so now that you know you've got everything set, all your sensors are working, you know your AFR gauge is working, or your O2 sensor is working, everything's working. You clear your log and you just start driving it. Okay, you can get into boost a little bit, but the longer you stay at steady state, the more accurate you're going to be. Okay, so all you do is you just log. Okay, now let's say you go for an hour drive and you're logging at different, boost levels, at different RPMs, just normal driving. Okay, and then after you do that, then you're going to go leave all that open. You're going to go to auto tune, which it's not even available now because since I cleared the log. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to take this for a quick drive and get a log going. Okay, once you get a log going, then we can use that log to transfer whatever it comes up with over to our main VE table. Okay, so let me do a log real quick. We'll take it for a quick cruise up and down the street. It's going to be short, not going to be very long, and let's see what we come up with. All right, guys, hopefully you can see me. I had to pull in the garage because it actually started raining a little bit. So I didn't want to get caught in that. But anyway, so we got our log. It's about 6 minutes long. Okay, so obviously that's a really short log. You're going to want to run it a lot longer than that in order to get your values more accurate. Okay, so anyway, once you run it and you have your log, you go back up to where we showed you before, these three little lines here, click auto tune, and then like I said, all these parameters here, they're pretty much set the way they need to be. You really don't have to mess with that. And then you hit OK, and then it's going to give you this. Okay, so if you look at all these that are highlighted, these are actually areas where the ECU was trimming fuel. Okay, whether it was adding or subtracting, I don't know, but I'm going to show you how you can kind of compare. What I like to do is I'll get the original map, you know, my fueling table, I should say, okay, and I'll put it right next, I'll put them side by side. Okay, so I have this is the auto-tune generated VE table, and this is the regular VE table number 1, okay? And then we'll try to do this with one hand. Drag it over kind of close, kind of like that, okay? So, and you can kind of look at it. So let's see, right in here, it wanted to give it more fuel because it's at 88.6, and if you come over to the same cell, it's at 80.9. So down low, for whatever reason, I'm not really even in that area, but it wanted more fuel. Now let's check up here. Let's go over to, it idles around 64 kPa, and in this area right in here, it idles right in this area. So it's wanting to add fuel. That's what it's doing. This is over here, it's 81.6, 82.1, and this one's 84.7. And you go up to the next one, 86.5. This one's 84.7. And then right above it, this table had 96.4, and this table's wanting to take away a little bit. So as you can see, it trimmed down a little bit there. So it wanted it more fat down low, and then it started trimming it out up here. Okay, and you can just go ahead and compare all those. Now, the way you apply it, like if you want to take this and apply it to here, all you do is you put your cursor in this area on this map and you right click, okay, and there's two different areas you can do. You can apply it a 50% or 100%. So if you apply it 100%, it's going to take these values and it's going to put them directly into your map. And that's it. It's that simple, okay? Now, ECU Master is pretty, the software is pretty smart. It takes in account that, let's say you just start your car up and your car's not fully to operating temperature. So, and you have like some enrichments in there. I know this is like, sorry, this is real dark. And you have like enrichments in there. The software will take that into account. Okay, so if you are, like if you have a warm-up enrichment, it's gonna consider that, I should say. Or an acceleration enrichment. So, you know, when you, like a quick hit of the throttle, you have some acceleration enrichment programmed into the ECU. It'll take that into consideration too. So it's not gonna like throw in a bunch of values in there just because it's becoming rich because you're giving it gas or giving it throttle really quickly and it's enriching, and then it thinks it needs to lean it out. But it knows that, like behind the scenes, it knows that it's enriching itself. Okay, I think I've gone into that a little bit too much. But anyway, that's how you do it. It's very simple. There's nothing to it. This does not replace a dyno or actual like track time or anything like that. It does not replace that. Because to be honest, like at the track, you're going to be, when you make a pass, you're not going to be in these cells very long. Okay, the cells you're going to be in are going to be really quickly, and you know your RPM is going to be all over the place. Your RPM is not going to be stationary. You know, it's not going to be in one spot. It's going to be constantly climbing or constantly decelerating. Okay, so I don't recommend doing the auto-tune procedure like when you're drag racing. I've only been using it these last like couple of weeks just to get like my idle down, to get my you know, like part throttle down. I've been just making short little trips out here just to get that, and I've actually never really got it into too much boost until that last little pull I did there. It got into a little bit of boost, and I actually noticed that it got a little lean around 13 pounds of boost. So no big deal. I can go in and you know, fix that, not a big deal. So it was at 184, and if you look, 184 is here, and you go up to 4,900 RPMs, which is right here. This is at 38.3, and over here it's correcting it to 140.6. So it was trying to add fuel, okay, when it started to go lean a little bit, but it wasn't there long enough, okay? So anyway, I just kind of wanted to go over this. I know that on the forums a lot of people ask questions about this, and maybe this will give somebody a better understanding of it. It's really not that complicated. All you're doing is it's going off of your log, okay? If you can log, then you can auto-tune, okay? It's that simple. And another thing I just wanted to mention, like a lot of people are go on these forums, like the ECU Master Forum or whatever, and they're like, does anybody have a map, a startup map to get my car running? It's a 2JZ with 264 cams, and I have 3-inch exhaust, and blah 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 blah. To get your car started is really simple, okay? Give yourself some values, like go on ECU Master, download one of the maps, plug it in there, and try and start the car. You're gonna notice right away, if you're keeping an eye on your AFR. Let's see if I can bring it up here. You know, start your car and take a look at this. You can see where your target is, and you can see if it's lean or if it's rich. It's really simple. I mean, you just highlight that area and subtract or minus until you get a quality idle. It's that simple. I mean, don't overthink this. And a lot of people on the forums overthink this, thinking that they're, you know, my cam and I have this spark plug gap, and, you know, I have this gear ratio. They're making it way more complicated than you need to. Just to get this thing running and get it to a tuner or a dyno or wherever you want to take it, you know, these guys at the dyno, the tuners, they want the car running. It's very simple. Just highlight the area where your cursor is, you know, idling, and if it's rich, lean it out. If it's lean, richen it up with the plus and minus arrows. It's super simple. You guys don't need people sending you maps and all that. But anyway, that's just a little off-topic rant there. But anyway, I'm gonna stop the video here because it's probably getting a little long. But yeah, the weather's getting a little better. It's not as like 98, 97 degrees. Like it's actually next week it's supposed to be like in the 89, 90 range. So in the evenings it might be cooler. We might be able to get this thing to the track. I don't know. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something. Check y'all later.